Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome back to a video that was supposed to be out later, but because of Alex we've had to do it a bit earlier, but it's okay, everything's sound. We are rated LFC season 4 so far. I am James Redmondinho, I am joined by Alex AGT, I am also joined by Doyle Freestyle DMs, and boys, we've had an interesting season so far. I think it's safe to say, big up everyone who's coming into the live stream as well. Some ups, probably more downs, but we're still in a good position. We've won every Champions League game. We've won the majority of our Prem games. We dropped points against Everton or where you at. Oh, that's if someone called me there. Wait there. Need to make sure that these notifications are off, mate. Right, there we go. So, yeah, like I said, Champions League won every game. Premier League, what's happened has happened. Everton, at the time, very difficult fixture. On top of that, you've got Aston Villa, which since then we haven't seen a performance anything like that. And then Man City as well. But before we get into any specific players, how do you sum up the first quarter of Liverpool's season?
Is it officially a quarter, is it? Yeah.
Officially a quarter.
Officially a quarter way
Scary
through.
that, like. Scary, a quarter already, lads.
But not bad, though.
I'd give us like a B+.
That's what this season is.
I'd give us a B+ if we're doing like, I mean, I don't even think they do those kind of grades in school now. It's all numbers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which probably shows how old I am. I would say a B+ in terms of, it hasn't obviously been A level. I think A+ is what you would have given us at this stage last season.
Yeah.
Because we didn't lose a game. Although we weren't as good in the Champions League as we are this season last year.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably the main thing that brings us back down to a B+. And I think the injuries, even though they're no one's fault, they kind of do take the shine away of what has been a season so far where we have achieved, but with perspective, knowing how many injuries we've got, 14 squad first team injuries, you could even give us an A-. But I'm going to say give us a B+. It gives us more space to get into the A's and the A stars later on in the season.
I'm on to what you mean. When it comes to grading the players, we'll do out of 10. But I just wanted to get your idea of how the season's gone so far. Doyle, I'm going to ask you the same. Alex just touched on it briefly there, but with the circumstances revolving around this season, can you say Liverpool have been successful? For what is the first quarter?
Massively, I think. Like, we've grafted through this season. Like, we've had no tools that we expected to have at the start of the season, lads. And we've just grafted results, lads. Simple as that, really. I think we've done massively. I'm made up to be in the position we are right now, considering what we've got to deal with coming up in the season now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We've put ourselves in a good position, at least, with nothing, really. So, what Gilly said, B+, mate.
B+.
Solid B+.
Well, sweet. I understand. Do you know what? Considering we're doing the season, somebody I'll say a solid. Do you know what? I'll go B+ because you can't say an A because we're not top of the league, and you know, maybe if we were top of the league, then we could edge that. But regarding the circumstances, mate, I think a lot of other teams, if they lose as many first-team players that we've lost this season, I'm just saying, like, I think it's much, much worse. Like, look at Everton. The second they lost James Rodriguez, the second they dropped off. And I'm not saying it's just James Rodriguez, but you can see he was a big part to play. We lost Virgil van Dijk. We stayed above water. We lost Sadio Mane for a game or two, stayed above water. Same with Hendo, same with Alisson. So summing it all up in one is sound. I'll agree with you on the B+. Now we'll get into the player ratings. Make sure everyone who's watching live gets involved as well. What? Was you going to say something there, Doyle?
We've played City. Yeah, we've played City, lads. Arsenal, Chelsea.
We played tough games. No, you're right. You're right. And we deserve to get the homage that is expected. But this is why I'm interested to see how you think about each individual player. Now, we're going to start off with the goalkeepers, then we're going to go into the defenders and stuff. But before we do, make sure the chat's getting involved, all of that. But first off, Adrian, I want to just get him out the way before we talk about Alisson. Adrian, what are we rating this season, boys, out of 10? Now, before you give him any criticism, this is my defence on Adrian. I just think the conclusion on him is he was brought in to be a backup. He's been given a lot more game time than what would have even been expected, even this season. He's just, when he was making them mistakes, people were saying, Adrian this, Adrian. The thing is, he's just not that good. He was trying, but he just isn't that good. He's not made for the position to be Liverpool's goalkeeper. In my opinion, I would give him a 4 because he was poor when he was in goal, but I wouldn't give him like a 1, which some people probably would, because I wouldn't expect that high hopes from him anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm going to go with a 3. I think, I just think it would have been higher if I thought that he was better, but because, like you said, he's never been bought in his career. It's always been free transfers. You kind of get what you pay for, or get what you don't pay for. So I think a 3 is probably fair. Hopefully, we don't see him on the pitch again this season, with all due respect, because that could go even lower, to be honest, than a 3. But I think a 3 it's respectful. Considering I could have said something way more disrespectful.
True.
But I'll go with 3.
Yeah, fair enough. Doyle, what about yourself?
Heavy 2 from me, lads. Lads. And you know why?
Oh, Doyle,
you know why?
You know
why, right?
Why?
Nah, lads. You know why? Because a 5 isn't average, 5 is just average. Yeah, normal player, you've done your job, all right, sound.
That's why I gave him a 4.
He hasn't even done that, lads. He hasn't even done his job, all right, sound, lads. He's conceded in every single game that he's played in. You can't do the basics of a goalkeeper. He makes that defence.
Doyle.
He makes the defence shaky, lads.
Alisson still, you're right there, and don't worry, I'm not comparing them here, but Alisson still concedes a goal when you say the argument is that he concedes a goal every game.
But he doesn't get smoke like Adrian, lads, you know what I mean?
Not 7.
You're right.
Actually, do you know what?
Everyone else, he lowers everybody's game, lads. He's one of them players that you just like, I like you, lad, but just fucking sit on the bench, bro.
Yeah.
You know what? I've actually come up with the reasoning behind my 3, which I didn't even know at the time. But I would have given him a 10. But he let 7 goals in against Villa. So 10 minus 7 equals 3. There you go. Quick math.
There you go, lads.
Fair enough. Right, we'll move into the next goalkeeper. And this is the only other goalkeeper to have played. Alisson Becker. Boys, greatest goalkeeper in world football.
Yeah. No worries about
that. I'll start this one off then. I'm going to give Alisson a solid 9. And before listen, I've got to give the 9 because we saw the elevation in not only the goalkeeper position, but the defence. He gets that back line intact. And one thing I said before he came back, watch when he gets back in that net and watch how the defence just looks more organised, no matter who's there. We've looked better defensively with Nat Phillips and Joe Gomez, with Alisson behind them, than what we have with Joe Gomez and Van Dijk, with Adrian behind them. I think that speaks volumes. I think we've realised that Alisson's the most important player in this squad. Not only this season, but over previous years. I thought he was huge in the Champions League final. Thought he was fucking massive last season when he came back into the team. He's been one of, if not, could be the argument for the greatest signing in the Premier League era. Obviously, you can't just throw that about because of how many people we've signed. But for me, I've got to give him a 9. Got to. Fantastic.
See, for me, I'm going to give him it's either a 7 or a 7.5. Only because I think there's a lot more improvement to come from Alisson this season. I think, like you both mentioned, although Adrian does let in a lot of goals, Alisson does let in 1 or 2, but then we always seem to win those games, so it doesn't really get shouted about as much, whereas Adrian lets a goal in and we've lost the game straight away. So the light is always shone on him more when it is mistakes. But I think the good thing about giving him a 7 at this stage, we're only a quarter of the way through the season, is that he's got 3 quarters to change that 7 to a 9 or a 10. And I think he's more than capable of doing that. I'd probably have given him, in his Liverpool career so far, I'd probably give him a 9 out of 10. Obviously made that save against Napoli, which won us 3 trophies.
Huge. That game was
save.
mad because and that Napoli game, like we wouldn't have got out the group stage. It would have been a disaster.
Nah,
you know what I mean? So,
last minute.
But I'm going to go 7.25. I'm going to go for Alisson.
7.25. Go ahead, Ben.
Specific, that lads.
Yeah, that's what I used to go. I was like, what the fuck's it? 7.25. Like, go on, Zoyle. You're next. Are you going with any 7.25, Shelley?
Nah, lad, I'm going with a whole number, a whole integer, lad.
Number 8. Going with a proper.
The number.
He's only going 8 though. 8
the number 8.
Number 8.
Yeah, I'd say, lad. I've seen like what Gilly's just said. Then we've seen him do keep clean sheets. We've seen him do amazing saves against like Napoli and keepers in games and that. And he has done some good saves this season, but he's been conceding. Simple as that, really. So you can't really give him an 9 out of 10 when he's been conceding. But he's definitely above average. And he's definitely affecting the defence and making sure we play at a higher level in that back line without a doubt. So for that, he's an 8 already. His standard base is an 8. That's what I think. So he's got more to show us this season. And I think with the lack of leadership in defence, that's where he's going to shine this season. It's now his chance. Now Gomez has gone, lad, in a way, for him to step up in a leadership type of way.
Alisson is centre back.
You know what I mean? Like Gomez and Van Dijk are gone, lads. We need it, Ali.
I know. I know. Boys, how many points do you think we would have dropped? So from the point that Alisson got back into the team, which was, when was that? Was that just after Everton? I can't quite remember the fix. Might have been West Ham.
I can't quite remember.
Since coming back into the team, do you think if Adrian was in goal since then, we would have dropped more points?
Yes, 100%.
Plenty more?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That was, lads. Millions.
Like, no doubt about it.
Bro, there's three things guaranteed in life.
I just give him a 2.
That's right there. I know you're going to say 3 things guaranteed in life: fucking bills, death, and Adrian conceding goals in them fixtures. Yeah. I know. Where do you think we're currently 3rd? Where do you think we'd be in the table without Alisson?
First.
Without Alisson, we'd be first.
Without
Alisson. Oh,
without Alisson and with Adrian.
Definitely not top 4.
Heavy.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably like
I think
6.
much lower. Yeah, something like
it'd
that.
be like Liverpool with me, remember?
Yeah, moving into the defenders then. We'll quick. What's the story of you chatting, Doyle? What are you saying?
Mignolet with Liverpool, lads.
Oh,
we conceded, lads, in that season that we had Mignolet. We had 100 goals, we conceded 50.
Yeah, 50.
That's what Adrian would do to us, lads.
Crazy, man. So moving into the defenders then, boys.
7 of them, lads.
We'll get Virgil van Dijk. We'll get him out the way. And I don't really want to disrespect him by giving him a full rating because he did only get a few games. But he weren't the greatest before he got injured. Between the start of the season and he got injured, he weren't fantastic. We're the normal Van Dijk than what we're used to seeing now. No disrespect to him, still fucking boss, still love him to pieces. Still would love him to be in the games that we're having now because he'd be a massive help, undoubtedly. But I just wouldn't give him a specific rating. Would you be the same? Would you be the same, or would you be comfortable?
I mean, what I would do, lad, is use the second half of last season, lads, and use that as well as like a season. Do you know why? Because he weren't that good in last half of the season, and he weren't that good the start of the season either, lads.
Yeah.
Well, I can give him a number. I think I'll give him a 7, but in brackets I'll put NA. Like not applicable.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
To get a number, a solid number, you'd probably have to play at least 10 games. And I think he got injured after the 5th game. And he was playing centre back in that Villa game. So normally he gets 9.5 or a 10 or 9.75. So no one gets a 10.
Yeah, okay.
But I reckon I'll give him a 7, bro, yeah.
7, go ahead, sweet. Joe Gomez, obviously another player that we've just found out has got injured. I'm going to start this off with an 8.5. I don't think I think with the fact that he has had a few questionable, shaky performances, but mate, to play next to as many defensive partners as he has, it was Reece Williams one week, then Nat Phillips, then Joel Matip, then Fabinho, back to Matip. It was like, how does this kid... And you know what people talk about Joe Gomez not being a leader? What's more leadership than playing with literally a different centre-back partner every week? I'm actually doing well. Very, very solid from Joe Gomez. Do I think that he's had better performances in his career? Yeah. But do I think with the circumstances given to him, I think he's done fantastic. I don't know what you think, lads.
But with Joe Gomez, right, he just played his 100th game for Liverpool. Yeah. But he's missed over 100 games for Liverpool, which just makes me think, like, what if? What if he didn't get injured? And no one would be saying he's not a leader if he'd played 200 games for us by now. There's no way that anyone would be going, he doesn't look the same when Van Dijk's not there. Trust me, if Joe Gomez plays those 100 games that he's missed for Liverpool, we're talking about one of the best centre-backs that's ever played for Liverpool, lads. I genuinely think he is that good. However, I'm going to go with a 7.5. And I don't think that's any throwing shade on Joe. I think obviously this injury now has completely taken him maybe 4 steps back, but he's been in this position before. He knows how to come back, and I think there was space for better performances. But I'm looking at the long picture with Joe, and I think we are going to be seeing one of the best Premier League defenders, in my opinion. So for that reason, I give him a bit of sympathy. I hate that he's injured, but I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Yeah. Doyle, before you get into your point, and great point there, Alex, from BHY Productions, I think this is actually a fair way to sum it up. Joe Gomez, a 7.5 out of 10 after the Van Dijk injury and about a 3 before. I actually think that is a good way to measure it. Because he didn't have a great start of the season.
Yeah, but that's Adrian levels, bro. 3.
That's Adrian levels.
That's 3 is heavy, lads.
That's heavy, bro.
That Aston Villa game.
But he wasn't heavy 3s.
It wasn't a three.
Not 3 week in, week out. But listen, for the fact that that game against Villa just was very, very poor, it would have dropped his ratings a bit. So I understand the message that he's trying to get there. But what about you, Doyle? Your rating for Joe Gomez?
I'd give him another 8 as well, lad. I think what you said about him playing with different people. Yeah, he's been playing with different people, hasn't he, lad? He's done really well. He led the line when he could, lads. And he stepped up. I thought he was going to do really well this season, lad. But then went to England and got injured.
Yeah, but do you think that Joe Gomez, right, because I don't think that he's done at Liverpool Football Club. Let me just get that out the way. I don't think he's anywhere near. I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to come back strong. But let me ask you a question. Do you think there's a chance that just with the fact that every injury he has had, it isn't a little one. It's not like a small. He's getting big, lengthy injuries, and it's happening consistently. Like you said, he's only just made his 100th appearance. If he'd made more, we'd respect him more. But I think, this is my opinion, I think his potential, his ceiling, is, do you know when you look at a Rio Ferdinand, and I'm not saying he's the same player, I'm not saying he's as good, but I'm saying he can reach that type of career where he joins the club at a young age, he's got fantastic attributes to be a top-level centre-back. But the only thing stopping him from reaching that potential for me, and the only thing that could overall stop him from reaching that level, is them long-term injuries. Just very quickly before we move on to the next players, do you think that he can come back and not only come back the normal Joe Gomez, but come back better?
It's such a difficult one to predict.
It's tough.
I hope he does, bro. I hope he does. Think about this though, lads, right? This season, we've gone into the season with 3 first-choice centre-backs, Van Dijk, Gomez and Matip. After this season, obviously Matip's in and out of the team, but Gomez and Van Dijk aren't going to play again for the rest of the season. When next summer comes around, do we actually now have to look at maybe signing 3 or 4 centre-backs to actually create a new base for our team? Because can we actually rely on 3 lads? Obviously, Van Dijk's his first big injury for Liverpool. But Matip and Gomez, can we actually rely on them for 2, 3, 4, 5 years going forward now?
I don't think we can rely on Matip. I don't think that's one that we can rely on. Joe Gomez is a difficult one because I just think if he plays, he's good and he gets into the team. And like I said, he's got all the attributes to become an even better player. He's got the Premier League experience that players only wish they could have. Like if he'd be talked about like a Marcus Rashford in terms of the experience and the minutes that Marcus Rashford has if it weren't for the injury. So that's valuable to a player. You can't buy experience on the pitch. That's huge. So I think he can come back. It's just, when I asked that question to you and I presented it to you, I just asked it because people are split on Joe Gomez. Some people are thinking, well, he can't stay fit. He's had more than one of these now at Liverpool. And I think long term we will need to get cover. I really, really do. I think we need to start in January, starting that process of getting new centre-backs in, whether it's one, I mean, at least one. We've got to get at least one centre-back. That's all I'm asking for. Like, if this is FIFA career mode and I'm in this situation, I'm buying multiple centre-backs to fix this. But I understand that it doesn't work that way in real life. I understand that you've got to go with it. So replace Matip and see what happens with Gomez. And if he continues to not be lucky with injuries, then we'll get him gone there. But boys, we'll move on to the next player. And I actually think, because it was going to be Kostas Tsimikas, but he hasn't really played, so I don't think we should rate him. Andrew Robertson, again, I will kick off this. I think he's been the most consistent player in a Liverpool shirt this season. I think you're getting at least a 7 out of 10 performance from Robbo. Even that Aston Villa game, you actually watched that game. Nothing came down his side, and he was fantastic. Well, he weren't fantastic. How can you be fantastic in a 7-2 loss? But you know what I mean. He weren't as bad as the other lot. So I think fantastic for him. Obviously, he's just gone. I know this is with Scotland's and this is an LFC player ratings, but he's just gone and helped his team to the Euros. I even saw a timeline of his career, relegated with Hull, joined Liverpool, won the Champions League, won the Premier League, and now he's just took Scotland to the Euros. Fantastic. I'm going to give him a... Have I said a rating yet?
No.
10.
Lads, I agree with all of everything that Jay's just said, lads. Everything he's just said, I agree with, lads. He's been the hardest working.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
I don't think you can give a player in our defence, any of them, a 10, considering how many goals we've conceded this season. Simple as that. He's an 8 at tops for me.
So you think it's his fault?
We've conceded a lot of goals this season, bro. We have.
7 of them against Villa, and none of them was his fault. Not one.
Sure, but we've conceded a lot more goals than just that Villa game.
How many?
He's give a goal away like as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, but how many though? How many? Because any player can give away a goal. How many?
I think we've conceded. I mean, that game with Villa was obviously a huge anomaly, and we conceded 7. But I'd say in the league we've conceded probably an extra 8 or 9 on top of that.
We've conceded 16 goals all season.
So yeah, 8 goals on top of 9 goals on top of the 7 there. So
besides 1 or 2, but how many of them was Robbo's fault? And also, you've got to think of the offensive play that he adds to our team. I understand what you're saying. Maybe a 10's a bit generous, and don't get me wrong. I'm just doing it because of the things that I've just listed off, and I gassed it up to the point where I had to give him a high rating. But what I think is, it's an argument that you could give him higher than an 8. You could easily give him a 9, 9.5.
I'd give him a 9.
I'd
be giving him a 9.
But I don't think you can give any player a 10 a quarter into the season.
That's why we're only talking about what we've seen so far. And this is what I'm saying. He's been near enough perfect, not obviously exactly
100%,
near enough every game.
But I don't think anyone in our team up to this stage is higher than 8.5, to be honest. I don't think I can give anyone a 9 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. Joel Matip, what are we saying? Just quick one.
7.5, Joel.
7.
I'll say a 7 as well. Reece Williams, when he stepped up, he's done the job.
Brilliant.
So far. 8?
Yeah.
8, lads?
8.
Give him 8.
Nathaniel Phillips, 1 performance, but that was like he got the man of the match.
8 again, lads. 8 again, lads.
We'll go with an 8 again. Trent Alexander-Arnold. We'll go in this one a bit more detail. Obviously, just got injured against Manchester City. We know it's going to be huge, but as much as I love Trent and as much as I want him in this team right now, I think this has been one of his. Well, actually, he's young, and you can't just be. It's been one of the worst starts he's had in a long, long time. He's young. He's had a few seasons as it is. What I'm just trying to say is, I don't think he's been that great. I think there's been more than probably 5 games where I've watched the game and I've thought Trent hasn't had a good game here. Like he's really struggling. He's still showing that he can put a ball in and he's looking good in that aspect. But just in my opinion, I'm gonna give Trent a 5.5, and let me just explain why. In fact, no, let me change that to a 6. 5.5 is below what I think is considered just average. It's because he does still offer that side of crossing the balls in and being offensive that way, but just defensively, I'm not seeing, and position-wise, I'm not seeing much from Trent this season that shows improvements. And to what I know Trent can perform at, that's why I'm going to give him a 6.
I'll go with a low 7, to be honest.
Yeah, 7 too, lad. I'll give him a 7.
I'm not going to lie, the chat is kind of coming up with a similar sort of answer, so I think we're all on the same page there. I just went with a 6 because I do think we can expect better from him. And then Nico Williams, again, someone who hasn't really played. So we'll move on to the midfielders. We'll talk about Fabinho first, because he's someone who's actually slotted in to the defence this season. Walked into the Chelsea game, a centre-mid, walked out to centre-back, all of that. What are we rating Fabinho, boys? I'm gonna say a 9. I'm gonna say a 9. Walked into that defence, looked solid, and we've seen that we could do with him since we've missed him. So I'm gonna say a 9 for Fab.
I'll give him an 8.5 for Fab.
Yeah, 8. Being great, lad. Been playing your boss, slipped into the centre back.
Alex, if you gave him, nah, you're right, Doyle. You're right, Alex. If you gave him because you've said you're not giving anyone a higher than an 8.5. Have you put him up there because of what he's had to do, the position that he's had to adapt to, and the fact that he's just done it, no questions asked, like a James Milner?
When he doesn't play, especially when him and Hendo don't play, I'm just not confident that we're going to win the game.
Yeah,
they're so important for us in that midfield, and I think finally we might just see against Leicester Fabinho, Thiago, and Henderson start, which for me is our best midfield 3. Obviously, did so well against Chelsea. He's just such a big miss when we don't have him, and for that reason, I know he's been injured for 3 or 4 weeks now, but I just have to give him probably one of the highest scores out of all the players. Yeah, 8.5.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, then we'll do Gini Wijnaldum.
A good 8.5 for him as well, lad. I think he's like being like the Robbo in the midfield, if you get what I mean. Same with Hendo. Yeah. Just running about and constantly working hard, lad. Just working hard, and that's all you want to see in a rough patch, lad. Just work hard. Yeah.
That's what you're right. Get him a new contract, I say, boys. Get that new contract for Gini.
Realise
this season how important he is. Like we've noticed that, and you've just summed it up perfectly, Doyle. The amount that he's been running this season, he's actually adapted to his game more. He's actually getting more stuff in. Even in that City game, he looked very solid. I think with Gini Wijnaldum, you increase your chances massively of winning more silverware just because of what he adds to the squad, not just the starting 11.
But for me, Gini, he's like, imagine in August everyone was saying, well, Thiago's going to come, so Gini's got to leave. It's just shut everyone up, hasn't it? Because we can, it's not even like we can accommodate both. We need both desperately.
We need both. Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, you know, if we get Thiago, Gini can have a little place, but he might have to go. It's like, no. He has to stay. He has to.
Yeah.
Because he's such an important ball winner. He's a box-to-box general. Like, I love the guy, and I just wish I could give him a hug, to be honest, because I do feel sometimes as if Gini gets a lot of undeserved stick, and I think it maybe gets to him a little bit, maybe more than other players. So I'd just love to give him a hug and be like, mate, you just fucking sign that contract and happy days.
I agree. I just think Gini's boss. I love his song. I love everything he's done since he's joined the club. I will always call Gini Wijnaldum a club legend. Like, I love him that much.
100.
I think like kids now who are like 6, 7 and slightly older will absolutely love Gini Wijnaldum and look at him as one of the hero players when they grow up. I really think he's made that.
Listen, if Gary McAllister is a Liverpool legend, Gini Wijnaldum 100% is.
Yeah, lads.
Yeah, that's the way to sum it up. Fucking perfect. Thiago Alcantara, boys. The signing of the summer. The man who was supposed to come in and say shit up did when he actually came in, but hasn't had a chance to play more
Have
games.
to give him a number.
I think from what we've seen of, you can get an 8 or a 9 from a number. That's it.
8.5 for me.
And
from the 100 minutes that we've seen. Yeah, 8.5. We've only seen him play 120 minutes or something, which is genuinely a disgrace. And we've all been robbed of watching this absolute magician when he stepped onto that green pitch. Oh, my days. The boy is just magic. And I get very excited when I think about him pulling on that red shirt again.
Fantastic.
I can't lie. Very excited. 8.5.
I understand what you're saying, mate.
He's just so good, bro. He's probably one of the best football players we've ever had.
He's give a pen away, lad, and I'll still give him an 8. You know what I mean?
True.
He's that powerful.
Nah, you're right there, Yeah, I'll give him an 8. That pass against Everton was just something to sublime. And also, mate, when you talk about the fact that he's a winner, you know, he's won everything at Bayern, he's won everything at Barca. We have got so much more to look forward to in Thiago Alcantara for sure. James Milner, 6.
6.5.
Standard rating for James Milner, lad. Nice standard 6.5. Yeah.
I think 7's probably standard. Do you know what I mean?
Right, are we back?
Hello.
Just had a little.
I don't know what happened.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Are we all back? Are we back? Wi-Fi. Yeah, he's like, then go on. Sorry, what was you saying, boys?
I think 7 is probably a Milner classic number, but just because he hasn't played. I mean, how can you give Milner more than even when he does play, how can you give him more than like an 8? You know what I mean? He's not that type of player, is he?
Yeah.
Consistent and comes with the 7. So, yeah, it's a 6.5 to me, and I would have given him a 7.5 if he played more. But then again, we don't necessarily want him to play that much, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a weird one with him.
I understand. What about AJ saying James's time should be up? Do you agree with that to any extent? Because I think he's looking a bit slower. I'm not saying we should sell him. I think he still adds a lot to the squad. But I think it's harsh to say his time's up. But I understand that it's closer to his end playing days than what it is. But it's harsh to say that his playing days are up. What do you think, Doyle?
Nah, he's not finished yet, lad. He's got so much to offer other than just on the pitch. He's experienced, bro. He's played in a lot of different teams. He's going to be a great person in that dressing room. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be a good role model for all the young kids and that. There's a reason why we keep him in the club, lad. And he's still a good player, bro. When he comes on, he does his job. Do you know what I mean? We can still keep him for cup ties, keep him for the kids. That's what I think, bro.
He's been with us for 5 years. Doyle, number 7. He took over the number 7 shirt from Suarez.
Yeah. He's been the greatest free signing this club's ever made, without a doubt.
100%.
I think that's fair to say. like for free, like what he's done, the fact that he filled in a left back, the trophies that he's won, like that's the thing. He was a winner at Man City, and he came in, and he's like, it's like he just brought that to us as well. So that's fantastic. Naby Keita, touch on him very briefly. I'd like 7, hasn't played much.
Yeah,
can't really give him a proper rating.
Stresses me out. This kid,
Jordan, Naby, I know. Do you know what, Doyle? In fact, you know what? You've just touched on it. Are we going to see the best out of Naby Keita in the Liverpool shirt, or is it getting to a point where he's not even going to get a chance to have a look in?
I don't even know, lads. You don't even know what he plays like. I don't even know. Like, you just see glimpses of him every season. You're like, he's going to play now. He's played one good game, and then he gets injured or something, lad, and then it's what it is, lads.
You know, people think that Liverpool, up until this season, were kind of invincible when it comes to injuries. Yeah. Like, we have had so many, when you think about it, we've had so many injuries, bro, in the last 2 or 3 years.
It's just this season, it's times by 5. So everyone's thinking, well, you've had no fucking injuries. Nah, I know what you mean. Jordan Henderson.
8.5, I'd say.
Same.
Yeah, man, I can echo that. I'm going to give him a 9. Like, it's just, he's fucking boss. Like, he's so good at it. He's so good at what he does, but not only that, you can see he's an adapter. He just gets better because he wants to learn. He's a sponge. He absorbs everything that any manager gives him or any player gives him, and now he's using every experience that he's had from Kenny Dalglish to Brendan Rodgers to now. You can see that he's putting it all in one, and we need him. And you know, I said at the start of the video, Alisson is the most important player at Liverpool.
M2.
But Henderson's there as you're right. Fucking hell.
I think with Hendo, like, we've all kind of had to, in the last 2 years, maybe come out and apologise for all the fucking shit that everyone had given him for his first kind of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But he's the type of player that I don't even think Klopp needs to, like, motivate. He doesn't even need to put his arm around him and go, big game today, George, you know, got to win this. Like, it's all there.
Yeah.
He's grown from the school of being the vice captain to Stevie G. And I know it's bad to compare them both, but that's definitely going to put you in good stead when you come to being the captain. And I think he just doesn't need any help. He doesn't need anyone to tell him what to do. He just knows what to do. He does it so well. And every time he does that so well, we win.
He's a natural leader, lad. That's why. Natural leader, lad.
100%. Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8.5.
More neutral. Yeah, more neutrals and clocking on to how good Jordan Henderson is. I can agree with that. I'll give him a 9. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain hasn't played. Curtis Jones. No. He's actually played a lot more this season, Curtis Jones. We needed to call upon him more times than once. So he's looked solid. I don't think he's been perfect by any means, but he weren't supposed to be. So I'm going to give him a solid 6. When he came in, he's done his job. He grew into the game more often than not. I don't know what you think.
Same, lad. 6.
7 for me. I think we probably could have given him in the season last year. But yeah, well, I think last year, trying to think back to the goals, obviously the Everton one, the League Cup penalty against Arsenal, and then he kind of went back into a shell, especially for the League and Champions League. But he scored against Villa at home last season, his first Premier League goal. I'd say, if anything, he has kicked on this season. So naturally, I think if he was a 6.5 last year, he's a 7 this year, a quarter of the way through, and he could go up to an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, face. And then Jadon Shaqiri.
Decent for me, lads. 7.5.
Very good for me. Yeah,
he's been boss, lad. He's come on and done really well, lads. He's proved himself as to be a good as
give a sub a high number, lads. Do you know what I mean? It's tough to give a sub
he's done
like 8 or a 9.
That's his job, though, lads. He's a sub. Yeah. That's his job, and he's done his job well as a sub.
Doyle's just summed it up right. You can only do the job that's been given to you, and I think the job that's been given to Shaq this season, he's done very, very well. That's why I'm not going higher than a 7. That's why I'm sticking.
I'd agree, actually. 7 for me as well. Yeah.
Right, and then that's the midfield done. Moving into the forwards, I know Shaqiri's debatable whether he's a midfielder or forward, but he's a midfielder on the Liverpool FC website. Forwards, I don't want to start off on this one because I know he's not going to get a great rating. But Bobby Firmino. I love Bobby Firmino, but
bro, I love him, lad, so much.
But he's been shit.
Yeah, he has.
He's been shit.
He has been shit, but if you look at his international form, he's got 3 and 3 for Brazil, which you kind of think like, can you bring that back to Liverpool and start banging 3 and 3, and then no one's going to mention this shit. But if we're all being honest, lads, of course we all love him to death. I don't doubt that any of you lads don't love him as much as I do. We all do. legend, club legend. However, it sounds harsh, but he's getting a 5 so far this season. He's getting a 5, but he is going to have to play at least the next 2 games up front with Jota and Mane because the Salah's got fucking Rona. Hopefully it goes up to a 6.5 or a 7 after these 2 games.
People are kind of agreeing, you know.
Ooh, sticky one, lad.
How can you give him more than a 5?
It's a 5, lad. He's been.
You can't give him more than 5. It's got to be 5, bro. It has to be 5.
Do you know what? I'm going to break that down. I'm a 5.5. Right. Right, I'll move forward.
I'll give him a 0.5.
That were funny. Sadio Mane, the greatest football player in world football. I'm going to give him an 11.
Obviously.
I'm assuming you agree and we can just move on because he's boss. Nah, I'm messing. Go on, carry on, boys.
I'm going to give him a 7.5.
That is 2.5 less than what I was expecting.
Yeah, but I'll tell you why. Okay, well, let me finish. I tell you why. Because the player that we're going to rate next has had a better season than Mane. So in my head, you can't give Mane more numbers than this fella that we're about to talk about, and we all know his name. So yeah, I'm going to give that fella a higher number, and like I said, I'm not giving anyone over a 9. So Mane gets a 7.5.
9. He's getting a 9 from me, lad. He's done, boss, lad. He hasn't scored the goals.
Before you say your point, Doyle, I just want to say that, Alex, is what you call common sense. Right, carry on, Doyle.
Nah, he's done. Do you know what, lad? The effect that Mane has on a game, lad. Even getting the pen against City and that, it's not just the goals he gets, lad. He's boss, lad. Mane is sick, lad.
That's right. Doyle, no, wait there, Alex. One thing that Doyle has just said perfectly there is it's not just the numbers. You mentioned stats about the next player. Oh, by the way, I love the next player. But it's just, you mentioned the stats. Doyle mentions everything else that he does, the fight that he adds to the team, the track and back that he implements there. He's huge when it comes being on that right-hand side with Trent and helping him put in a defensive shift. He is massive to our team. And I'm not saying the next player isn't, and I understand maybe his goals and stuff hasn't been quite up there. But we also realised when Mane weren't available, bear in mind he was another player not in that Villa game, how huge he is to the team, not only offensively, but even the defensive shift that he puts in as well.
I would like to make an apology for all the viewers here watching on James Redmond TV, to James Redmond himself, to Freestyle DM himself. I would like to offer my sincere apologies and change my 7.5 to an 8.25. It's 8.25, lads.
Okay, that's all right.
That's all right. It's better than before, but I just still think it's a bit... I just still think you're a bit ridiculous, Alex, to be fair. Right, Mohamed Salah, the man who's just been infected with corona because he's been going to weddings. But before we say his rating, what's your opinion on that, dead quick? I think it's his brother's wedding. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck though about it's his brother's wedding? People are getting angry for going to a wedding of your family member.
I'm not bothered about him going to the wedding, lad. I'm just the fact that he's not playing against Leicester, bro. Do you know what I mean? Lad? Made up that his brother's got married. Made up, lad. But I want you to slot 2 past Michael, lad. You know what I mean?
Nah, you're right though. It's heavy. People are already coming in.
Thing, though, I mean, yeah, no problems with going to your brother's wedding, but when I see the video of him on the chair getting lifted up, doing all the dancing, you can almost see in Salah's eyes, he's doing the dancing, but his heart's not in it. He's thinking, fucking hell, shouldn't be doing this, lads.
But that's why this is what I don't. I understand, but this is what I hate about. This is why I would hate being a footballer. You've got to embrace that moment. You've got to take that moment in. And just because you're the Mohamed Salah and you do so well in football and you need to live a certain life, which I understand, footballers need to approach many situations differently to a normal person. But it's just like that is a moment in his life that only happens once or a couple of times. You don't see your brother getting married every day, is what I'm trying to say. So it's just...
Yeah, but to be on the chair doing the dancing, bro, I think that was a little step too far.
He's in a family. He's in a wedding. He's in a wedding with his family. He's not supposed to be... why the fuck do these players have to look left and right in every building that they go into?
No, bro.
It's heavy that whoever leaked it's heavy on him, lads.
Yeah,
that's his family, lads.
Doyle's made the point that I'm trying to make, James. Like, I don't have a problem with you going to your brother's wedding, having pictures, having a dance. But when someone's going like this and you're up there on a chair, you'd half be like, can you fucking not, you little fucking snake? I'm trying to have a good time here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, I understand where you're coming from. I know that... I know that you don't have no personal vendetta against Salah. Believe me, I do know that. I know you just gave him. I know you do. I know that you give him the praise that he deserves. I just think I'm not even talking to you, by the way, Alex. I'm just talking to people in general because a lot of people did get in contact with me over Instagram and stuff saying Mo Salah is a disgrace for doing it. And I just think, shut your mouth, mate. Calm yourself down. Right, to round up the video, we've got a couple more players. Takumi Minamino, our Samurai, had a good pre-season, been a bit debatable since.
5.
Yeah, no more than a 6 for me. 5.56.
I'm going to say a 4.
Wow.
Don't think he's been good when he's played. I just don't. I don't think he's added anything to the team when he's played. I think against Lincoln he was sound, but that was Lincoln. I think we saw his level a bit more in the Champions League. I'm not saying I give up on Taki, but as of right this second, and people might be angry when I say this, but I don't know why we've signed him. Now I know it's good that we have him because of squad depth, but I don't know why we've signed him. Is all I'm saying. I'm still waiting to find out why the reason was.
We'll see.
We will see. Right, Divock Origi, and then I've left the big man for last.
Heavy, lads. Heavy for him, lads. Number 4, lads. He gets a 4 in, lads.
It's
Has he scored?
I don't. I think he scored against
Lincoln. Yeah.
Lincoln.
I scored against Lincoln, no, lads.
Yeah, so that. I'd scored too.
Oh, lads. I just think he's not being. I think Divock Origi is one of them players. You've got to play to his strengths. And we don't do that. We play him on the left. He's not a left winger. He's probably done well there once or twice, which just maybe gave Klopp the perception that he can play there week in, week out. But I don't think that he can. But I will agree about a 3 or a 4 because he just can't seem to get on the pitch. And then the last one, who not at the time was the signing of the summer, but I think we can now, in hindsight, say that he is Diogo Jota.
Run down the way.
First of all, I think we forgot to rate Salah, so I'm going to give Salah a 9.
Oh, true. Actually, good mention there, Alex. I think we did. I'm going to say a 9 to Mo as well.
Yeah. 9.8, lads.
Yeah,
9.8
the goals.
But then I'm going to say a 9 for Diogo as well. I think, in my opinion, Diogo has come in and absolutely just...
Rian's just adding zeros. Yeah, people.
A 9 for Jota.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah,
he's been boss.
9.
He's been amazing. Really. Yeah, he's been fantastic. Even for Portugal, he's been doing the bits as well. But no, people, that is the Liverpool squad rated. I'm not sure how the stream's gone in terms of, because I think we've dropped a few times, but hopefully it's held in there and hopefully it's enjoyed. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Doyle, for coming back on the channel. It's massively appreciated. You're going to be seeing these a lot more on here, hopefully. Hopefully the next time I'll have you on here is tomorrow, so I'll message you after this about that. But no, thank you for watching. Boys, go and tell these where they can subscribe. Obviously, it's in the link in the description as well, but tell them.
Right, Gilly?
If you type in American's Got Talent, I'm always the second one.
American's Got Talent. Right. Yeah, just go and subscribe to the Cop TV. Go and subscribe to